Hi guys, welcome to Card Magic 365. Now I know what you're thinking, what's that blue card doing in the envelope? Well, we're going to come to that in just a moment. This single card is my premonition, a prediction, and I'm going to leave this in full view throughout the trick. Keep an eye on that. The cards which I'm going to shuffle up, you're going to call stop and you're going to choose a particular card from the pack. So if I just shuffle the cards, just call stop, you're happy there. Yeah, the card you stopped at is this one, but you could have had any of these, but you've stopped at the 4 of hearts. You could have in fact had any of these as well. An absolute free choice. They come from this deck of red backed cards. This is your chosen card, the 4 of hearts. Remember, my prediction has been here all along. I'm going to do this at fingertips. If I turn this over and reach in, watch. This is going to blow you away. Are you ready? 1, 2, 3. And look at that. My prediction matches yours exactly. Now this is the important thing here. The envelope. You can examine that and make sure that I just have the one card in here. In fact, you can even examine, I don't know if you can see in there, there's absolutely nothing in here but just my single prediction card. Now that in itself is a great trick. You picked the 4 of hearts out of all of these cards, and my prediction was the 4 of hearts as well. But I like to go a step further. I like to enter the impossible. If I do this, apart from it showing that I have no sense of rhythm, it does something strange with the 2 cards. You see, a transposition has taken place. This is now my prediction card. You don't believe me? There it is. And this is your original card chosen at random from the pack. And I'll leave you the cards and the envelope to examine everything. And that is a great little card trick. Card Magic 365. Practice and enjoy. Don't forget, if it's your first time here, hit the subscribe button, also the little bell icon. That way you're informed of every time we upload a new video, which is currently a few times every week. Welcome to the tutorial for this great little trick. I think this is one of the best tricks that I've presented in a long while, and that's my personal preference. Let me show you exactly what you need. Now you are going to have to get a pair of scissors, a sharp blade, and you're going to have to make up the trick. There is a little bit of setting up, but I think it's worth it. Let me show you what you've got. You do have a regular deck of cards. These are unfaked, not stacked or anything whatsoever. Okay, but there is a slight setup, as you'll see. Any magician watching this will know that you force the 4 of hearts, but you can choose any card. Let me show you that. So the 4 of hearts from the deck you're going to force, and we'll come to that in a moment. You also need a duplicate 4 of hearts, but with a blue back. Now this appears to be the one that's in the envelope, like that. Let's take a look at the envelope. This is a great convincer because people can see all the way through it. This is what makes them convinced a real miracle has happened, because they can examine the envelope. And what you're going to have to do is to get yourself a small envelope. It can be a little bit bigger than this, just so it fits the card. Okay, so the card can go in there. You then need to cut a hole. Now I don't actually have a hole punch on here, so I had to do this with a pair of scissors by folding this in half and just trimming a half circle in the middle. Now it is important that it goes in the middle, and I show you why. the two fours that you've got, the blue back and the red back, as you've probably already guessed, they start life like this. The blue backed card goes in the red backed deck. That's the card you're going to force. The red backed four is the one that is your prediction. So how do we show the blue? Well, have you guessed yet? There it is. Okay, what you need to do is get yourself an old deck of cards that you got lying around that you don't use anymore, or maybe even a joker, because what you need to do is to cut a small circle out here. Now if you're using bicycle cards, that's quite easy because you do have a kind of circle in that middle part there, so that works quite well. Okay, and all I did was to cut this little circular disc out using scissors like that. Okay, this is going to line up perfectly over here. Now let me show you what I did here. I use a little tiny, you do not need to cover the whole of this, just a little tiny piece of double-sided tape. Take a lot of the stickiness off there. You don't need it to be a permanent fixture. And what you do is you stick this on like that. Now I can see that it's stuck just here. Now obviously if I play around with this too much, it's going to fly off, but don't forget it's only going to sit in here. So what you do is you push this card in. You can now see why we cut the hole in the middle, because when this is inside, the only part you want showing is that little fake disc that you cut out. Okay, there it is there. Now although I used the four of hearts, you don't have to, you can choose any card, because if you note in the performance I didn't actually show you the underside of this, although it's not a big deal if you do, but I just think keep the suspense there, just keep it with its back out. Just remember that the trick is all about them not knowing what's coming next. So at the start of the routine, when you introduce this, you just say, look, I've got a single card here on that, and people can tell it's blue. In fact, even though in the presentation I said to you, what's this blue card here, you don't even have to mention that. I don't think your audience are that silly that they can't see that it's any other colour but blue. It's a blue backed card. These ones are red. They can see the contrast. Now this blue backed four of hearts, I just place at the bottom of the pack like that. Now I use the Hindu shuffle force. For those of you who are not familiar with this, it's a very simple one. That's where you hold the cards like this. Your finger and thumb grab a chunk of cards like this from the bottom. You slide it towards yourself. You then come over and with these fingers here and thumb, you grip a few of the cards from the top and pull them off. So you get this motion. If you exaggerate it, it really looks like a genuine shuffle. Now one of the things I do here is to lead up to this. You'll notice at the start of the routine I didn't do a normal overhand shuffle, I didn't do a riffle shuffle. I wanted to prepare them for my Hindu shuffle style that comes later on. Because if you're doing an overhand shuffle and then when you ask them to choose a card you suddenly revert to doing some strange Hindu shuffle, people kind of ask why. So when I first start talking about let me show you a trick, I actually just do this Hindu shuffle anyway. So again, what I do here is I just take the top half of the cards. I've left the 4 at the bottom. Just take these and I just say, look, I'm just going to shuffle the cards a little bit because I want to show you a trick in a moment. Once you've done that, drop the cards down and refer to this to kill a bit of time. But they did see you do that particular Hindu shuffle. You have to force this 4 of hearts onto them. So when you come to do this, now don't get me wrong guys, you may know a different way of forcing this card. The reason I like the Hindu shuffle force is because it does hide the back. But if you got a better way of doing this, then do that method. I then do the Hindu shuffle force. I pull the bottom stack out. There's the card I'm going to force on them. I pull off cards in little chunks. They call stop. You flip the packet over and I spread the cards to say you could have had any of these. This is the card that you chose. I then turn these over and spread these here. It's a normal deck. I pull this out and I can even just flip the cards over to show them all to be read back. And I then just slip this in just to isolate it. When you get the false card, you turn it over, they see this, I open it up, and what I do is I slide it out by gripping the top and bottom like that. Okay, and when they see the 4, they're astounded. They think the trick's over. As you pull this out, and if you watch the routine, all that you do is you pull this out. They're more interested in this. What I'm doing with this is, look at my fingers. Remember, this isn't on very tightly. So as I've pulled that out with my fingers, I just push this. Watch what happens to that disc. Boom, it's off. Okay, no effort at all. And because I've got it like this, I've pulled it off like that. And then I put the card down and then refer to this. I've got the disc here. Okay, they got no idea. Why would it be? That's what they're interested in, is the 2 faces. You could then show them this. And to be honest, if you're standing doing this presentation, you could keep this in your palm all along and just say, look, bum, 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 bum. No one's looking at that. It's not as I'm hiding a playing card here. Yeah, it's not as I'm trying to palm a card in here. It's just that. If you are somewhere else, you might want to put your hand in your pocket to dump it in there or drop it into your lap. You decide what you do. That it's so tiny, it makes no difference if you just keep it in there while you do the next part. You do some clicking around, and the amazing thing is when you turn this over and they see it's blue. They saw it in here a couple of seconds ago. And the real clincher is that one there, and it looks as though they've swapped over. Everything can be examined, there's nothing to hide, but that's what they're interested in. So I guarantee they will pick that up and have a look in there.